What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So, now that we took care of the Ozma arc, we do really only have one more thing before we go ahead and get onto the final stretch of the game, and that is to make a final rounds among our companions, see if they have anything to say about all this. A lot of things have gone down since the last time we were here, so let's go check in with everybody. Let's start with Sten.
I have been mistaken.
What do you mean?
You are a soldier worthy to stand among the Beresad. I did not think so when we first met.
What changed your mind?
You did, of course. The day will come when the Arishok sends us here. On that day, I will not look to find you on the battlefield.
You think the Canary will invade Ferelden?
In time.
There is no point in dwelling on it. We should move on.
I wanted to discuss something you mentioned.
Speak, then.
Yeah, he's not going to get into that. He's not going to tell us too much about his people, especially in terms of battle plans.
Then I suggest we move on. As you wish.
So we did finally get Sten's respect. He's finally acknowledging us as an equal there. A soldier worthy of standing in the Beresad. Which is a huge sign of respect from him. That's the Canary military that he's dedicated his entire life to.
Ask away.
I had another dream about the Archdemon.
Yes, me too. And I got the feeling at the end there that it saw us, was aware of us, whatever you want to call it. Could have just been my imagination, I suppose. What do you think?
I think that Archdemon needs to die. Quickly.
Well, short of waltzing through the entire Darkspawn horde and tapping it on the nose, I'm not sure just how we're supposed to do that. But killing the Archdemon is the general plan, I understand. Good to have you on board. I guess one thing is certain at least, isn't it? It's official. This is a blight.
Indeed.
Ask away.
I have some questions.
Of course.
What was it like to be a Grey Warden with all the others?
I didn't know them for very long. But I guess it was longer than you. You never met them all, did you? They were quite a group. Actually, they felt like an extended family, since we were all cut off from our former lives. We also laughed more than you'd think. There was this one time... Well, you probably don't want to hear stories about men you didn't know.
Actually, I would like to. We didn't really meet anybody but you and Duncan. We didn't get a chance to meet any of the other Wardens in the King's Camp. And since then, it's not like we've recruited any extras. The rest of the Ferelden Wardens are gone, so... I would like to hear a little about our brothers and sisters that didn't make it through the fight. I'd like to hear about them.
There was one Grey Warden who came all the way from the Anderfells. What was his name? Gregor. He was a burly man with the biggest, fuzziest beard you've ever seen. And the man could drink. He drank all the time, but he never got drunk. Finally, we all made a pool to see just how many pints it would take to put him under the table.
Sounds like you had a lot of fun. A lot of camaraderie that goes on then. Again, I mean, they're all in the same boat, right? They all went through the join-in. They all feel the Darkspawn Tain. They all know what they have to do if the time ever comes. You definitely feel like a brotherhood under all this.
Sometimes. We were kin of a sort. All of us had gone through the joining, so we knew...
Yeah.
Anyhow,
It's not too different from regular military conditioning, really. Minus the Blood Mage ritual, obviously.
Anyhow, we never did find out. He said he'd drink a pint for every half pint that the rest of us drank. He was still going by the time the rest of us were passed out. I'm told that Duncan walked in later on and saw us all passed out from one end of the hall to the other, and Gregor still drinking. Duncan laughed until he nearly...
I'm sorry. This must be hard for you.
Yes, I suppose so. I thought I was done with this, but it just struck me that I have nothing to remember Duncan by. Nothing at all. There's no body, not even a token of his that I could take with me. That must sound really stupid to you.
That doesn't sound stupid at all. It's a very normal thing to want a token or a trinket or something to remember somebody by. And who knows, we're not done with the game yet. We might be able to find something for him. I'll certainly pick it up if we can. Can help people remember their loved ones. Not at all. I mean, after all, we even have our father's sword and shield.
I just would have liked something of his to take with me, that's all. Well, There's no use in moaning about it, is there? He's gone. Let's just go.
Aye, aye. Go ahead and talk to Alistair again.
I'm wondering something. I'd like to know your thoughts about some of our traveling companions. Do you mind if I ask?
Uh-oh, it's time for the gossip. Why do you want to know?
I've got this nefarious plan to go around to each of them and secretly tell them all the nasty things you said. That way they'll mutiny and I shall become the group leader.
He'd walk us into a Darkspawn ambush first day and we'd all be dead. I love Alistair, but like I've been saying, in a battle of wits, he's always outgunned. Thank God Morrigan didn't hear him say that. You'd hear the jabbing comment off in the background. I wouldn't trust you to lead us to lunch.
Hey, that's a pretty good policy. Where exactly is lunch anyway? Seriously though, I'm only curious. I've had enough time to form my own opinions, and I just want to see if yours are any different.
Okay. Who do you want to ask about?
How about Oghren? You must have an opinion on the smell, at the very least.
I thought you two would get along.
As long as he stays downwind, sure. Once he's had a bit to drink, however, forget that. There is no bit to drink with him.
Drink? Where does he get the liquor?
Where? You didn't think that big pack he brings with him is full of equipment, did you? The man is a walking brewery.
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven crafts.
Ale has its charms, I suppose. I just don't think you need to drink to the point of blindness every time.
I suppose I can't talk too much shit about where he gets his liquor from. I think I have around 30 bottles in my inventory for him. He gets them from my bag too, Alistair, not just his. He's an excellent warrior.
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd say. For a drunk, he's an excellent warrior, right? How he lifts his sword is a bit of a mystery. Though I suppose the point is that he does lift it. And so long as we can point him in the right direction, he charges too. He has gusto, I'll give him that.
He charges too.
The elf. You can't trust him, can you? Do you believe his so-called vow?
Maybe. We'll see.
That's a lot to put on a maybe, isn't it? He's an assassin. The crows aren't known for giving up. Maybe he's just biding his time.
Well, we do actually kind of have a relationship with the Antiban Crows. We did some work for them in Denerim, and they did give us a vow that they weren't accepting any more contracts. The man said himself that they typically bet on the guy they think will win in situations like this, and they're betting on us, not Loghain, so... I suspect there won't be much more trouble for us from the Crows. I'm willing to give him a chance.
Well, if you are, then maybe I should too. But that doesn't mean I won't keep an eye on him. He's just too shifty. What about Sten? The way he looks at me with those eyes. Creepy. And he's so quiet for someone so big.
I respect him.
The more I talk to him, the more reasonable he does seem. His philosophy is so strange. But it doesn't sound at all as vile as the Chantry describes it. And yet, he killed all those people. He doesn't even deny it. Doesn't that bother you?
He seems to regret what he did.
I'm not so sure that his regret means the same as it would for us. The Kunari sense of honor is a bit hard to grasp. For me, anyway. What about Leliana? Is she crazy? Or do you really believe in her vision?
Don't pull any punches, Alistair. She's right there. As for Sten, I'm inclined to agree. I don't think Kunari feel regret the same way, because I don't think they've been taught regret the same way. But all I know for sure is that he certainly wishes that he hadn't done what he did with that family on the farm. Now, that doesn't excuse it. He's obviously still committed great crimes. And perhaps he will find his atonement and justice in his fight with the Darkspawn. If not, then I suppose it'll be on his own people or whatever happens in the future. All I know right now is he's a hell of a fighter and we need that against the Darkspawn, so... You don't believe in religious visions and miracles?
Even the Chantry believes that most claims of visions and such are usually people's minds playing tricks on them. Wishful thinking at best. I'm not sure what I think.
I believe that she believes in her vision.
That's one way to put it. I don't know what to make of her. If you look at her when she doesn't see you, she just looks so sad. I almost feel guilty taking her away from her life.
She's proven very useful.
True enough. Who'd have thought a sister would prove to be an adept thief and spy, eh? Morrigan, do you trust her? Think about it. Maybe Flemeth sent her with us for some other reason than she said.
I mean, that wouldn't be beyond the pale, but we don't really know that for sure. What reason could she have to betray us?
Hello? Have you met her? I think she'd need a reason not to betray us.
Well, she hasn't done anything like that so far. She's come in pretty handy for us, and she's only really asked for one errand from us this entire time, which was with Flemeth's grimoire. I don't know about that.
Just tell me one thing. Is it true what the others say? Do you have a thing going with Morrigan? Tell me it's not true.
He sounds quite repulsed. What the others say.
You think we have better things to do all day than talk about you? Come on, tell me it's not true.
It's true. So what?
Great. So they were right. Well, it's your funeral. Enough.
Thanks,
I think
buddy.
my curiosity is sated.
Brother at
Let's
arms,
get
eh?
back to it, shall we?
He's like, well, good luck with that.
Ask away.
I have some questions.
Of course.
Okay, I know we asked all about the Grey Wardens. That takes care of Alistair. We'll mosey on down the line. Look to Leliana.
I know that look. You have something on your mind, don't you?
We need to talk.
Of course.
What will you do when this is all over?
I have not given this a lot of thought. What will I do? We've traveled far and wide. Does it need to end?
I would like to see the world too.
There's so much out there. Adventures to be had and stories to be told. I want to be part of it all. I might need some company. And you're not too irritating. You're welcome to come along if you like.
What a grand endorsement. Let's just try to stay alive for now.
Good idea. Before one plans for the future, one should be sure one has one, yes?
Indeed.
I know that look. You have something on your mind, don't you?
And she had quite a lot of dialogue options, so I'd like to dip into some of these. I don't know why this is saying I'm sorry I had to end it. We've never been in a relationship with Leliana in this playthrough, so that's a little strange. I've heard some rumors about Orlesian spies.
There are many rumors about spies, Orlesian or otherwise. What are you referring to exactly?
They say you will do almost anything to achieve your goals.
I admit I have done many despicable things in my lifetime. I do what I have to do. So do you. So does everybody. Sometimes we must do terrible things to get what we want. If it is any consolation, I always try to use non-violent means to achieve my ends.
I suppose she's right about that, but you can kind of keep a lid on the things that you are willing to do. You don't want to become a Bronca or a Loghain, right? Not everybody does that. She's a little wrong about that. What sorts of non-violent means?
Some bards rely on torture to get what they want. It works effectively, as many will bend under the threat of bodily harm. But there are better ways, more subtle and kind. You will be surprised how easily a person will open up to you, even if all you offer is a listening ear. People respond eagerly to others who they believe understand them. They seek approval, friendship, sometimes love. This can be exploited.
And this is better than violence?
You don't think it is? I took what I wanted from them, leaving them none the wiser and unharmed. It is a game, one that can be won with little bloodshed if one plays well.
That's the Orlesian in her coming out. At least violence is honest.
And crude. Why not make someone want to do what you suggest, instead of forcing them to do it? Everyone can be seduced by the right woman. The trick is predicting who she is and becoming her. Master the game, and no one can resist you.
So how does this help us kill Darkspawn again?
Well, it doesn't really. I see your point. We will slay this Darkspawn using conventional means, pointy sticks and all that.
And pointy sticks and all that.
It is getting late, and there is much to be done.
I think there's an interesting conversation to be had there about whether it's more morally righteous to fight somebody versus fooling them into thinking you're in love with them and stealing them and disappearing in the morning with their documents or whatever she was sent there to do. Personally, I think the straight up fight would be the better way to go. I think playing with people's heartstrings leaves probably more of a lasting effect than a good old fashioned fight does. Let's talk to Zev.
What say you?
Care to answer some questions?
By all means.
So tell me more about your adventures.
Again? Well now, what might interest you, I wonder? Shall I describe the stages involved with Lanthrax poisoning? I watched a man go through all 7 once.
If you like, certainly.
No, I'll not inflict that upon you just yet. Let's see. How about the largest battle I ever took part in? That would have been the slaughter of Prince Oghren. Did you hear of that down in these parts?
You killed a prince?
Me? Not personally, but I did take part in the attack. Prince Oghren was 4th in line to the throne, you see. He started off as 11th, but worked his way up the old-fashioned method by inheriting control of an entire Crocel from his grandfather. After assassinating his way through the royal family, the king hired 3 other cells to take down Prince Oghren once and for all. I was in one of those cells.
3 whole assassin cells for one man. That's quite the assortment. Is this sort of thing common in Antiva?
Antivan royalty is very much bound up in the crows. You wouldn't want it run by a bunch of commoners, after all, would you? And this means they get involved in politics quite often. This particular fight nearly bankrupted the nation, I understand. It almost ended up putting a crow on the throne, a commoner, but that's a whole different story. I played a very small part.
There was almost an Antivan crow on the throne. Although honestly, that wouldn't surprise me. I'm surprised that's not already the case. We already read in the Codex that the crows are essentially the standing army of Antiva. They already run it essentially. None of the nobles would dare cross a line with them, I'm sure. What did you do?
My part in the entire battle was taken up trying to reach Princess Verina, who had thrown in with her brother. I killed about 11 of her guards personally before I got knocked out of a window. I landed in a river and nearly drowned. I was fished out by some urchins who robbed me blind. Made off with my boots, too. At least they didn't cut my throat. And that was my part in history.
Knocked out of a window and robbed by urchins. You got robbed by urchins?
I had to find my way back to the safe house, bruised and naked, and thankful to be alive. But there you go. Tale told. Let's be off before I tell more embarrassing stories, huh?
What's on your mind?
We did pick up a lot of stuff. We have the golden mirror to give to Morrigan that we got in the Orzammar merchant district. I'd like to ask you something about the circle.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
Why didn't you want to stay at the tower?
The circle is in good hands. Irving knows what to do, and he doesn't need me underfoot. For now, I will support those that battle the Darkspawn. I do feel I left things unfinished in Ostagar. There is so much left to do, and I would be part of it.
Wynne is a very good woman. I'm glad for your company.
The Grey Wardens, all 2 of you, need all the help you can get. I will see this through to the bitter end, and after that, if I am still left standing, then I will return to the circle.
I believe her wholeheartedly. I guarantee you she'll be with us until the end. She takes that very seriously, and so, just like she does with doing the right thing. I'm sure you will be able to return, if you choose.
Perhaps. What's on your mind?
I'd like to ask you something about the circle.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
How did you become a mage?
People don't become mages. They are born mages. The talent just surfaces later. But you are asking how I ended up at the circle. I was brought there by the Templars, just like many of the other apprentices. I don't remember very much. I was very young then.
How did they know you were a mage?
I set a boy on fire.
Oh? Why?
It's a long story. I didn't have a family. I never knew my real parents. My earliest memory was of hiding in a hayloft on a farm, trying to keep warm. I was found, and the farmer's wife was kind enough not to send me away. But they had children of their own, and I was never made to feel welcome. The eldest son was the worst. He was always calling me a stray, and throwing anything he could get his hands on at me. And I don't know how it happened, but one day, He just found his hair on fire. Fortunately, there was a large trough nearby.
Not sure how it happened, huh? Now, it's very dangerous to have a mage in and around the populace like that, especially such a young mage who doesn't know about the Fade or demons or any of that stuff. But I will say, the fact that Wynne would never turn to blood magic, even in hard times, like what was going on at the Circle, is probably a lot to do with her upbringing, right? Like, she's never been a comfy, cozy life. She was brought up in a hayloft with no parents. So things would have to get pretty bad for her to take some kind of deal with a demon or to summon a spirit like that. It would have to be really, really bad to ever get to that point. I think it is the upbringing that sets her apart from her blood mage counterparts. Serves him right.
He ran screaming, dripping head and all, to his mother. I was shut up in the barn with a bowl of water and a crust of hard bread. The Templars arrived several mornings later.
Were the Templars mean to you?
One of them ignored me, but the other was kind to me. He gave me sweets and even sat me on his shoulders once when I wanted to look over a high wall that ran along the road. I'll never forget the moment the Templars led me into the entrance hall of the tower. I had never seen anything so grand in my life. I stopped being afraid then. I knew I was home.
And now I understand it's just an anecdote, but it is worth noting that there are plenty of anecdotes of Templars being nice and kind, just as much as there are of them being abusive or a little malicious. Important to know both sides of the story when it comes to the Templars and the mages. That's a great story.
Well, that's about all there is to my tale. That's how I came to the Circle.
What was life like in the tower?
I would be lying if I said it was easy. First, there were rules, and we were constantly watched to make sure we behaved appropriately. Then there was the study of magic. We had to cast the spells just so, control the effects completely. A single word spoken incorrectly, a gesture out of sync, and lack of focus. And we needed to have perfect focus, or we would be in danger.
At least you learned the dangers of magic from the Circle.
Without the Circle and my mentors, I would not have been where I am today. And there was joy in life at the Circle. The joys of fellowship, in knowing that you were not alone in your struggles. In spite of everything, I was happy in the tower, and I loved it.
You see, the towers aren't all that bad. We know Wynne. Wynne is a reliable source of information. She wouldn't lie. She wouldn't say it to be malicious or to affect a certain narrative. She's just given her honest experience. There's companionship, there's fellowship, there's study, there's protection. There's a warmth involved in the tower. And again, you can leave whenever you want. Once you have passed your harrowing, you prove that you can't be possessed by a demon and you won't become an abomination. You can leave. You can get your little hall pass, so you can go on adventures. Wynne has been all over Thedas. I think stuff like that is very worth pointing out for when you progress into different games and different conversations within this universe. Let's finally talk to the man himself.
Come to talk to old Oghren, have you? Don't know why.
I'd like to know more about you.
What about?
How do you like the surface?
It's sodding great. At first I was a little queasy with all that air, but there's just so much of it. No one has any idea who you are or what you're doing. And the ale. Oh, who'd have thought ale made with grain? Aye, the surface is great. It's like a big, bright world of filth without a ceiling. My kind of place. Hey, let's go find something to kill, huh? All this talk makes my hands twitchy.
Okay.
Pull up a drink, Warden. Join me in my sodding hole.
Seems a little depressed. Something bothering you?
Nah, just tired is all. Did you want to talk about something?
I'd like to know more about you.
What about?
Are you sure you're fine with what happened with Bronco?
Oh, sure. I'm fine with it. I mean, she was a real firebrand between the sheets, but a bit soft in the skull, you know what I mean? Explains why she left, anyway.
It's a little soft in the skull. I imagine she wasn't that crazy when she left.
Oh, you don't know her. She was cracked like a glass floor. Before she was a paragon, I mean. After that, she really fell apart. I mean, she leaves me and flits about with that watered tart Hespith. What's she got that I don't?
Watered tart.
Just the thought of the two of them together, kissing and licking and intertwined on the floor of the deep road.
Okay, Oghren, you're getting lost in the fantasy, friend.
I'm just gonna go back to the tent for a moment. Excuse me.
Okay, buddy.
Just leave me alone, Warden. Seriously.
Is that any attitude? Why? Are you upset about something?
Upset? Ugh. I don't get upset. I get drunk.
That's an
You
interesting
wanna
strategy.
talk about something?
Can you teach me to fight like you do?
You want to be a berserker? Thought I'd never see the day. You're a monster on the field already, Warden. But your style just doesn't give itself to mad rage. Too much thinking, too much, what you call it, finesse. But
Don't know much about finesse, huh?
fit for this type of work, I'll teach him. It'll be nice to have another berserker to grunt at for a change.
To grunt at. Tell me more about berserkers.
What the sod is there to know? You get mad, you fly into battle, and things die. It's pretty simple. The hard part is getting in touch with your rage. We all learn to hold that back. It's why we don't kill every duster who looks at us sideways. You need to shut that off. For some people, being in battle is enough. But others have to think about something. Violence, monsters, nobles, your wife, whatever.
Your wife.
Especially my wife.
Just thinking about it works.
Well, for most berserkers it does. Several years ago, I worked with a berserker on one expedition who just couldn't work himself up. We had to kick him in the stones before he could get going.
You had to kick him in the balls before every fight. I'm not sure that's a good strategy. Why would you want to fight that way?
Why not? When you fight, you get mad. By the stone, it's a sodding tactic to enrage your enemy so he makes a mistake, right? Berserkers grab that anger and drink it like it's yesterday's ale. Then we turn it against our foes and watch the limbs fly.
Okay, now we have the berserker tree from everybody.
You have a lot of nerve coming here.
This is my Count Oghren.
Oh, no you don't. You can't come swishing in here and take over the Warden's camp just like that. I'll fight you with my sodding weapon, you moss-biting poetess.
Moss-biting poetess? Poetess?
You came and stole my own princess with your poetry.
Ah, you think I'm Hespith?
Your disguise can't fool me, woman. That's right. You keep looking at me like that, I'll just go get my pants from that sodding dog.
Duke stole your pants. And there he goes. Like I said, he's a very thirsty companion. Now, who do we have? Just Shale, I believe. Now, Shale should have some interesting dialogue for us, considering we went into the deep roads. Let's see what she has to say.
I have a question for it, if it will indulge me. My understanding is that it encountered the smith named Caradin, he who was responsible for the creation of the golems, that he had become a golem himself. What I do not know is what became of him. Why did he not return with it? I would have many questions for him.
She calls Caradin him, but we are it. The audacity. I'm so sorry. He killed himself.
He killed himself? Ah, I would doubt it, but no, I see it is telling the truth. May I ask what became of the Anvil of the Void, assuming that it too still existed?
It was destroyed, as Caradin wanted.
Then it was no doubt for the best. With Caradin also goes any chance I might have had of finding answers on my past, I assume. Tell me, did it find out anything from Caradin? Anything at all about how I might have been made?
Not actually, there was a whole stone tomb listing everybody that became a golem, so... The anvil made golems from living souls.
Meaning that I was once a living creature? That seems highly unlikely, and more than a little insulting. Is it certain?
You were once squishy, sad but true.
Was I forced into this? Or simply glad to abandon a frail body? And more importantly, who was I? I simply must know. I cannot help but believe that answers lie elsewhere in the deep roads. We must look.
Anywhere specific?
Yes, no, I don't know. If it can search the deep roads, I may remember something. If not, then I will have to wait.
Well, we do have the scratchings that we had. Let's see. Seek clues to Shale's history. Shale has asked you to explore the deep roads for clues to the golem's past. Okay, so let's start with... I suppose we'll start with Morrigan. We have her mirror.
What have you there? A mirror? It is just the same as the mirror which Flemeth smashed on the ground so long ago. It is incredible that you found one so like it. I am uncertain what to say. You must wish something in return, certainly.
It's simply a present for a beautiful woman.
I have never received a gift. Not one that did not also come with a price attached. Perhaps there is a price to pay yet, hmm? If so, 'tis deserved. Thank you. Truly.
And that is the most human we have ever heard Morrigan sound. We got a huge +20 for that also. I definitely saw the cracks in the armor there with that one. Some more emotion in her voice than we've heard for the entirety of the game. Shale, I know you will like the silver bar.
I'm to keep this, am I? Fine.
Not much. Okay. Alistair, you're already maxed out. We don't even need to give you anything. Wynne is also already maxed. Morrigan is very up there. Oghren definitely needs some
That looks fine indeed.
some drink in his cup. Would you like some rum?
That looks fine indeed.
He had the little scribble in the journal in the background, which means he's good to go. Leliana is getting up there, but she's not quite there. Would you like the Silver Sword of Mercy?
Oh, how dear of you. Thank you so much.
You would indeed. We don't need to give anything to our dog. Okay, so now let's just work our way through.
How nice.
A lot of them aren't going to like much of what we have.
Nice.
So we're going to have to just kind of like drop these all over the place.
How nice.
I do want to get them out of my inventory, so... I know this is going to be for Leliana. We'll just
Oh, how
get
dear
her
of
maxed
you.
out.
Thank
Sten is already really cooking, but I think you liked books, right?
You have my thanks.
I was sure Sten
You
liked
have my
books.
thanks.
Or is it no, Sten likes the paintings. We obviously know that
It'll do, sure.
Oghren is a fan of alcohol. The Wilhelm Special Brew.
That looks fine indeed.
He's a big fan of that. What we have now... Wynne likes runestones, I believe.
Most kind.
She's maxed. Nothing but Alistair. So Zevran, realistically,
How nice.
he can really only give you the leftover pieces here. You want the demon
How
pendant.
nice.
You take search for the true prophet.
How nice.
Get most of this out of her inventory. Now the join-in chalice is obviously going to be for Alistair, I would assume.
Is that for me?
Indeed, no, Alistair's maxed.
Really?
The last gift we have is alcohol for Oghren.
Wow.
We can go ahead and take care of this though. Here's what we'll do. Let's get all that out of the way first. Now, Leliana, now that we maxed your companionship, do you have
Lucky
anything
girl,
for us?
Morrigan.
How is she lucky?
She caught your eye. Though looking at her, it is not difficult to see why.
She is very beautiful.
Well, I want you to know I am happy for you.
I appreciate that, actually.
I know that look. You have something on your mind, don't you?
Leliana's a good sport. We need to talk.
Of course.
Okay. What about Oghren?
There you are. Wanted to talk to you.
Oh, what about?
You and I, we've... You know how sometimes you spend time with people and things.
I love you too, Oghren.
What? Keep your hands where I can see them. Sheesh. Can a man address a friend without getting all weird? I was just asking a favor. You had to go all that on me.
A favor? What is it?
I was thinking, I do know some people out here on the surface. A person, actually. A girl I knew in Orzammar. Before I left, obviously.
A girl you knew? Or a girl you knew?
What? Oh, you mean were we rutting? Oh, aye. After Bronca left for the deep roads. Name's Felsi. She was a fiery one. I'm sure she's forgiven me by now. Thought maybe I'd track her down. See how she's been living.
Wait, you cheated on Bronca?
Me? Cheat? Ah! That iron-thighed shrew had left me long before. And she'd cheated on me with that tramp Hespeth. I grant you, I didn't find out about that till after, but hey, truth is truth. Anyway, she left for the surface a year back, and I haven't seen her since.
Oh, Oghren, you are a grouchy, ruffled one, aren't you? Why did she leave?
What? Why are you asking me? I didn't do anything. I tried to look her up the last time we were at Lake Calenhad. She wasn't at work at the inn. At home with her sick mother, they said. I figured it was just the ancestors telling me something. But I keep thinking about her.
We can go back.
Well, and a good friend you are, Warden. I'll think about you if we ever... no, actually, that would be gross. No, what was it you wanted to say?
Yeah, that would be a little weird. Do you miss Orzammar?
What? Miss Orzammar? Are you mad, in addition to being ugly? They treated me like a puddle fly back there. I'm never going back.
Let's talk about something else.
All right.
We'll talk more later.
Aye, all right then.
Okay, so Oghren's Old Flame is the quest we have there. He has a lady friend that he wants us to go check out for him. We'll certainly take care of that. Some of the reason why you want to avoid using gifts, by the way, until late game is because you can break some of their dialogues and their attitude towards you if it gets too high too early. It's better off, you're better off waiting until you've exhausted most dialogues like we have before you ask anything like that.
I have something for you.
What do you mean?
I mean that I have a gift for you. 'Tis a ring. Now before you get any foolish notions, let me explain. Flemeth once gave me the ring because it allowed her to find me no matter where I went, in case I was ever captured by hunters. I disabled its power as soon as we left the wilds. Recently, however, I thought to change it. Now, I will be able to find whoever wears it instead.
It's a sweet gift. Thank you.
It is not given out of sentimentality. I believe you were too important to risk. If you were captured, this ring would allow the rest of us to find you quickly.
So you're giving it to me purely out of practicality?
I have no desire to see us part company so soon. Not unless we wish to, that is. Do not read more into it than is there. You have supplied me with equipment. Certainly this is not so very different, is it?
Does it do anything else?
Flemeth used to say that 'twas a link between us, one that I presumed worked both ways. I never tested it, but I doubt she would have lied over such a thing, so it would mean I am linked to you as much as you to I.
So I could find you, if need be?
I do not know. As I said, I never tested it. Perhaps.
I'm glad to see you care.
Now you are mocking me. Do you wish the ring or not? I am tempted to simply keep it.
Thank you for the gift.
You are welcome. Perhaps it will be useful someday.
Now, I guess we'll never really know on her true intentions of giving us that ring. Maybe there's something else to it, but there's certainly no reason we shouldn't accept it. We might get separated at some point, and she did make a very valid point about the rest of our party being able to find us if we ever do get separated. Who knows? Maybe we'll actually run into a situation like that going forward.
I wish to ask a question of you.
Go ahead.
I wish to know your opinion of love.
in my opinion.
You and I have been intimate, for one. We have been close for some time now. You are impressive in many ways, and you even protected me from Flemeth without hope of reward. I feel anxious when I look upon you. I dislike this sense of dependency. 'Tis a weakness I abhor. If this is love, I wish to ascertain that you do not feel the same.
Are you saying that you love me?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's exactly what she
need to
said.
Pay attention. What I'm saying is that I have been foolish. I have allowed myself to become too close. This is a weakness.
Love is not a weakness.
You are not listening to me. Do not be such a fool. This is for your own good. I am not like other women. I am not worth your distraction, and you are not worth mine.
You are worth my distraction.
You are impossible. Have it your way, but I will tell you truly now. You will regret it in the end. Your desire?
It seems like she doesn't regret the conversation we just had much.
So, full of questions, are you?
Okay, and that is all of Morrigan's dialogue taken care of, and I think on that note, we're about ready to wrap up. We do have some things to turn into our allied supply crates here. We do have the dwarves now, clean up the rest of our gem inventory. Let's do that now, actually, because I have lots of gems in my inventory that I've just been scared to get rid of. It seems they only take sapphires, malachites, amethysts, and topazes, so all the rubies and diamonds and garnets we've been collecting over the episodes mean absolutely nothing. Go ahead and clean some of this up. Might drop another 30 sovereigns into Redcliffe's soldiers. Now, we've definitely broken through the little chain of armor that Morrigan's had around her heart for the whole game. You see her becoming quite human. What does she say? She's let herself become too close. Definitely trying to talk us out of being with her, though. And again, she realized that she loved us, and all she wanted to do was ascertain that we didn't love her. So it could be easier for her to walk away, I would assume. But again, it's not a weakness. Love can be a strength in the right place. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for this episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to ring that bell. And if you'd like to support the cause and help improve the channel, there is a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned and I'll see you guys soon with more Dragon Age Origins. Take care guys, have a good day.